everybody, this is Alchemist 2, and I'm back again with another book review. This is basically Inside Out, driven by emotions, and the 5 stories here. First one's joy, second one's disgust, third one's fear, fourth anger, and fifth is sadness. And caution, if you haven't seen the movie, this is basically a spoiler for it, but each emotion tells his or her side of the particular story in which Riley undertakes. And, of course, Joy is my favorite, but durr. And I actually took a quiz, and I turned out to be Joy. Surprise, surprise! But I think I would actually make a tremendous Joy if I were ever to cosplay. I would love to cosplay as Joy. I would think it would be splendiferous, but I love the stories, especially from the different points of view, and then you get to see how they're different from each other, but they all work together, and it's really quite incredible, I think, because as far as neurobiology is concerned, we really don't know what goes on inside the mind in and of itself. It's such a complex mechanism. I hate to equivocate it to a mechanism because it's less so that and more electrical and chemical and just a different conglomeration of different things that I've read many different books about, but I'm not a brain surgeon, so I couldn't tell you. And people who are involved in that field, especially neurologists, pathologists, anybody like that, I just think that their position is just fascinating. And I feel the same way about theoretical physics. I'm in love with both fields, and they drive me. And there are things I think about on a daily basis when I'm kind of bored. I think, well, how long can I lengthen pi? Well, I can only lengthen pi so long. I don't know the entire length of pi. I only know 3.14, and that's it. But I just think about really unusual things like symmetry and other elements. And it's like I said when I did my review, and I know my review was very tearful and emotional, and I'm sorry about that, but I was going through a lot. And I can relate a lot to Riley, although I wasn't exactly like Riley. I like hockey, I'll admit to it. I don't play hockey, but I love it. I like hockey and soccer and fencing. But I prefer designs that are more male-oriented than I do female-oriented, even though I do wear very soft fashions, and I like bright colors, and I'm a mixture, I guess, of both yin and yang. But when I was thinking about it, there's so many different things that make us all unique. But it's one thing that comes from the book is the whole idea of togetherness, and how working together actually functions for us as a whole better than if we were apart. And that's one thing that I think they really drive home very well in the movie and in the book as well. And it's just a nice hardback book, and I got it for $9 at Walmart. But I just want to show you the cover. It's absolutely beautiful. Look at the joy on the cover. I absolutely love that. And of course the back with joy, fear, disgust, anger, and sadness. And I wanted to read the back of it just because it says, like most people, 11-year-old Riley is guided by her emotions: joy, disgust, fear, sadness, and anger and sadness. With joy as the lead emotion, Riley has always been a happy girl. Yeah, I can relate to that. She loves her home in Minnesota, has great relationships with her mom and dad, and lives for playing hockey with her best friend. And they talk about Meg in the book. I'm not going to give any spoilers away about that, but But when Riley and her parents move across the country to San Francisco, her world is turned upside down, and her emotions are sent reeling, quite literally. We live the film inside out through the unique perspectives of joy, disgust, fear, and anger, and sadness. They share their sides of the story as well as their never before told memories, and I love that. It's just absolutely fantastic. It's tremendous. Riley's world has never been so full of excitement and turmoil, both inside and out. And of course, the different emotions have little phrases. Joy says, "Move to SF was great. It was one of our best adventures yet." And Fear says, "All around horrifying experience. We barely made it out alive." And Disgust says, "Whatever, I'm over it." And then Anger says, "Turmoil, I'll show you turmoil." Of course, then Sadness says, "When I think of what we went through, I get caught in a melancholy spiral," and that's sad. But, of course, Joy's my favorite. And just to see them interconnecting, and of course even the binding of the book's really pretty to look at. All the colors. I love things that are colorful like that. And it's very short. It's current. It's Disney Press, and there's a dedication. It says, "To Maddie, honor of emotion and glorious islands of personality. Love always, Mom." I thought, oh. "To my parents, thank you for letting me draw, Jared." And of course, the different stories are headed off by these absolutely beautiful pictures. And I really love it. And it's nice to look at. They're very thick pages and good to hold, and it's a sturdy book, and it's just, I think it's well worth the money if you buy it. I mean, if you're a fan like I am, it's really just marvelous to read, and I highly recommend it. And it's if you're in love with the film as much as I was, and especially when they go through abstract thought, that part was my absolute favorite, and I don't know why, but for some odd reason I was laughing the hardest in the whole audience. The same thing with non-objective fragmentation, when then they all start becoming more cylindrical and polygonal, and I thought, yeah, that's, if you want to see strangeness, go into my head, because there was one story that was actually based on a dream, off of a dream, when I wrote my my chronicles of, well, not chronicles, my Tales of Lux, which Lux the planet, from which Regina, my time traveler, she's actually a quantum jumper. She's not a time travel. Well, yeah, there's similarities, but there are some differences. However, I came up with this planet in which shapes lived, and I thought, yeah, this is non-objective fragmentation right here. I mean, everything is a shape. There is no real there really isn't a definition per se for this particular object. It's just an object, and it is a thing. It doesn't really have. Does it eat? Does it sleep? Does it go to the rest? Who knows? I mean, who cares? It's just it's in existence, and the shapes. I had little circles that would talk to each other, and rectangles, and polygons, and squares, and triangles, and just very linear forms, and then more complex, three-dimensional, four-dimensional, five-dimensional, just things that would they would speak their own little language to each other on this planet. And I thought, yeah, that's definitely one thing that I thought, where am I coming up with this stuff? I don't have any idea. And then little equations would kind of float around that I didn't really understand. But they'd just be there, and they would whisper to each other, and their numerical, their tongue. and Regina could completely understand them, and I thought I would love to have her gift because my lack is not being able to understand numbers, but I understand them better than I have been. I'm more of a linguist than I am a mathematician. But this is just another great example of what Disney Press can produce, and I love what they do, and pick it up, definitely. It is short, and it's very entertaining, and of course I also felt emotional reading it. I thought, oh no, I'm going to cry again. Oh well. I mean, but that's just, Pixar does such a good job of really evoking deep feelings, because like I didn't go through that story when I actually moved when I was not when Riley remembers when she moved, but I remember when I moved. For me, it was not a traumatic experience, because I remember the old house that we used to live in was huge, and my mother and my grandmother, my dad's mom, and my grandfather. No, my grandfather wasn't alive because he died when my dad was 13. But I didn't know Grandpa Art. I knew Grandma Ruth. I didn't know Grandma Ruth well. I mean, I had fragments of her face and her long black hair. I remember that she was a very serene entity to be around. I really liked being around her. And my mother's mother, Nellie, is of course my storyteller, and we moved when I was about 3 years old, and I remember, and for me it was not like it was for Riley, but for me it was this huge sojourn, and I was so happy. I thought, ooh, we get to go traveling in a van, and I really love being in mobile and just moving from place to place and not being set in one kind of box and just kind of closed in by that. But for Riley, it was entirely different, and of course she's going through quite a bit, and one thing is I hope they do a sequel to it when she's getting older, like when she's a teenager. I would love to see that. I don't know, no family movie has ever done that before in that way, and if they could, it would open a dialogue, I think, and that would be really tremendous. I hope they do. I don't know if they will or not, but if you're listening, Pixar, please make a sequel to Inside Out. I know there are a lot of people like myself who would love to see it, and the sooner the better. I'm getting really anxious waiting for Incredibles 2, so make it snappy! Please.